Okay, I'm going to be going over the vocabulary found on page 7 of the Henle text. The first word we have is terra, terrae. So the first thing I put on my vocabulary cards is the nominative singular and the genitive singular of the word. And underneath it, I break the nominative singular into its syllables, having ter and ra. And when you have two syllables, the accent is always on the first. So I put the little accent mark telling me that I should pronounce this terra and terrae. I also went to the genitive singular, found the ending of AE, and if that were removed, we would end up with TERR. That is our stem, so I went ahead and underlined our stem. And as we know, AE in the genitive singular means that it is part of the first declension. If we flip this over, I wrote the English translations for terra, terrae, which is earth or land. And up in the left-hand corner, I put a number 1 to show it's part of the first declension, as we talked about earlier, with the AE genitive singular ending. In the top right-hand corner, I put an F saying that this is a feminine word, because all words in the first declension are feminine, unless naming a man. Bottom left shows that it is a noun. I put an M to identify this word as a noun. And on the bottom right, I put the page number to reference where you could find this word if you wanted to learn anything more about it. Next word is parta and terrae. Again, the nominative singular and the genitive singular having the AE ending, showing us that it's part of the first declension. Removing that ending, you're left with your stem of part. Putting it into its syllables, we have par and ta. So accent goes over the first of the two syllables, having this parta and terrae. Flipping it over, we see it is also a first declension word, and we put the English translation of gate. Feminine up in the right-hand corner, noun, and the page reference. So parta and terrae means gate. Next is Mariae, Mariae. We have the nominative singular, the genitive singular, the stem, and the word put into its syllables. Maria. We see that the accent is on the second to last syllable. When you have two or more syllables in a word, you start at the end, go back one. If this has a long vowel, which it does, we can see by the macron there, then we will accent this second to last. If it did not, we would accent the syllable before. So we would pronounce this as Maria or Mariae. Flipping it over, we give the English translation of Mary. We know that it is first declension, feminine, noun, and found on page 7. Here we have nauta, nautae. Nominative, genitive singular, underlining the stem of naut, putting it into its syllables, two syllables. Whenever there's two syllables, the first gets the accent. So we have nauta and nautae. The back shows us that this is first declension, meaning sailor, and if we notice in the top right corner, it is not feminine like the rest of the words in the first declension we've had. And I put a little note here. I made a little outline to get your attention, and I put naming a man. When we think of the word sailor, sailors were generally men, so this is naming generally men, especially during the Roman times. So that is why this word is masculine as opposed to the other feminine words of the first declension. Then I marked an N for noun and page 7 for reference. Next is victoriae, victoriae. So nominative, genitive singular, underlining the stem, and breaking it into its syllables. Here is 3 or more syllables, so we're going to follow the rule of going to the end. Back one. Is that a long vowel? It is not. Going back one more and putting the accent over this syllable. So the emphasis will be put on the to. So victoria and victoriae. Flipping it over, we see that this is a first declension word meaning victory. It is feminine, a noun, and found on page 7. Next we have silva and silvae. Nominative, genitive, singular, underlining the stem, breaking it into its syllables, and accenting the first of the 2 syllables. So silva and silvae. This word is a first declension word meaning forest. It is also feminine, and you can see here I put a note. Anything irregular about these words, I'm going to make a note of. One thing to know about forest is that the plural of forest is sometimes declined in the singular. So even though they've told you, or you can identify it as a plural word, sometimes when you're translating to Latin, from English to Latin, they will choose to put it in the singular. It's not constant. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So just look out for that and don't beat yourself up if you choose a different translation than the answer key. Also, this is a noun, and you can find it on page 7. Last word is gloria, gloriae. So nominative, genitive, singular, underlining the stem, breaking it into its syllables, 3 syllables. So I started at the end, went back 1. It was not long, so I went back 1 more and put our accent here. Now we have gloria and gloriae. Flipping to the back, first declension word meaning fame or glory, feminine, noun, found on page 7. Hopefully that was helpful, and look forward to seeing us go through these vocabulary words for you to practice in a later video.